Get started.
Planning board August.
Okay, so welcome to the planning board meeting of August 1st, 2024. Please note that this meeting is being made available to the public through an audio recording, which will be used to ensure an accurate record of proceedings produced in the minutes of the meeting. All comments made in open session will be recorded. PAC TV is providing this service live on Comcast Xfinity Government Access, Channel 9. Those without cable, visit YouTube for live streaming. All right. So what do we have first on our agenda? It's like Don Shu with a Form A at 729 Center Street. Is he here?
It's right there.
Oh, come on up to the front and tell us what you plan to do. Is this
Right
it?
there.
Right there.
Right there.
729 Center Street was the former kennel owned by Wendell Samet. And Wendell died last fall, and actually, the people that he willed it to, they died, and their children inherited the place. So I'm buying the property, and I intend to, I'm subdividing off a lot to the left and a lot to the right. Wendell had already subdivided, I think about a decade ago, 2 lots to the far right, and there's 2 houses there.
Okay.
So I intend to improve the property. I don't think it'll continue to be a kennel, but I haven't, so all the buildings will be improved, but I don't know what the former kennel buildings will be at this time, so. But there's each of the lots to the left and right is a fully conforming Form A.
Okay.
And you upland there to get back to that, yeah, that's fine.
I will be filing a notice of intent for the lot on the left because the driveway will be in the buffer zone,
Gotcha.
but there'll be no filling.
Okay. Well, I see no problem with Form A lots.
Just Form A.
Yep.
Yeah.
They conform. You've got up more than 150 square feet,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And you've got 40,000 square foot.
Yep.
And you
Yes.
got your circle
I do?
for buildings, so you're good to go with the Form As.
80% uplands?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
you're good.
So what's the pleasure of the board? Any more questions?
Move that we sign the plan, I submitted.
Okay.
Just one question
Approval
I
not
have.
required.
What,
Approval not required, right.
For the kennel, is that considered, like, does that require additional setback? Where, because that's
What's the setback?
right there, it says 24.7, I think. But I
Side
didn't,
yard 20.
Side yard is 20, yeah.
20, I didn't know where it was a kennel, if it required additional or not. No? Okay. That was my only question.
As I understand it, if it were to continue to be a kennel, I'd have to reapply and get a site plan approval and so on. It's 'cause
Yeah.
it's expired.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's in Residence A, correct?
Yes.
So, I don't know what's allowable in Residence A as far as kennels, or there may be a provision for it in the bylaw. You'd have to take a close look at the bylaw.
I think that the kennel would probably devalue the houses that I would like to build on the left and right.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
that's why I say it's very unlikely that it'll be a kennel.
All right. All right, we've got a motion on the table to accept the Form A lot.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good, great.
Thank you.
And we just need to sign the Mylar?
Yes.
Pass it down to Jim first. Okay, next on the agenda is an informal meeting with Jared Collins, 218 Scoosas Street, to discuss operating a tree business and a dog kennel at the property location. Come on up.
Do you want the map? I made like a drawing, so
Sure.
you could technically kind of like see what I'd like to do.
Tell us what you'd like to do.
I'd like to, I've been in business almost 3 years, and I'd like to purchase a piece of property and put my tree company there. I'd like to be able to park my trucks on a visible main road, and possibly in the future sell some firewood to local communities. And I show in the picture there in the drawing the trees alongside the road and the trees on both sides. I'd be putting up a new fence and making the yard in the front be aesthetically pleasing to drive by. And the barn is roughly about 40 by 60. And it's got a second floor on it. This is Mr. Jones. He's the current landowner of the property. I plan on, there's a house, a residential house on the front of it that wouldn't be lived in. I'd look at, see about removing that area completely, or possibly renovating it and putting up like an office almost. And but that wouldn't be for a while. I have to make it aesthetically nice and pretty. So like obviously we don't want to be backing up trucks late at night. So it would be kind of driving up into the right of the existing barn and driving around the back and shutting off the trucks. And obviously where the property is on the map, we're about 400 feet setback off the road. There's 244 feet of frontage, I guess you could say, but the barn is hundreds of feet back off the street. I don't think it would be a problem for like headlights, but even still, I'm a tree company. I remove and I plant trees. I'd like to make it super beautiful, and I'd like to just operate my business out of there. And obviously about the dog kennel, Becky and I here, we own Fluffed Up, which is a mobile grooming company, and we're mobile. We have Mercedes-Benz Blue Tech diesels that travel to people's homes and groom their dogs, or their animals, I guess you could say. Their dogs, whether they're older dogs or younger dogs, or dogs that like have anxiety that go in the back seat to go to PetSmart and they don't want to be left in a cage. So we provide that service. So in the future, I guess in maybe a few years, I could possibly apply for a permit to have that, maybe that main house be an office, and have a few dogs out back in almost like a doggy daycare.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be for future reference. I talked to the people over at the Magical Touch, the school, and they said, as long as what do you plan on doing with all the vines and all the trees that keep on falling into our property? I said, I plan on clearing out that whole area, putting up really nice green giants, or emerald green arborvitaes, as long as they stay inside my fence zone. If I put up emerald greens outside the fence, we all know 4.5 feet up, it's all brown from the deer because they eat it. The green giants, they don't eat.
What's behind you?
Stone wall, and then there's 3 houses. So if you're looking at the property, 3 houses down on the right, there's a residential house, and behind that house is 140 feet of wetlands, and then behind that, they own the property all the way out to the North River.
Gotcha.
But they can't build out there. They can't drive out there. Nothing. They'd have to access it from, I guess, another person's property to get access to that.
Okay.
But there's 150-foot frontage with the town of Pembroke.
Anybody have any questions?
What zone is this in?
It's
Business
a-
B.
Business B?
It's in Business B, but there's a residence on it already. I don't really plan on
Yeah, so why don't you ask that
Where's
question?
the road? Is this the road or is this the road?
so the road is kind of like the black stripe. It's not really, yeah, that's kind of like 139, I guess you could say. The building's a little bit big. I
So
gotta-
where's the drive off of it?
the what?
The driveway off?
Also, the drive is just that light brown, yeah, like
Goes
that.
here. So this is the drive off?
No, I'm sorry. So currently, right now, in front of it, there's a, this is kind of like gravel right here.
Okay.
And there's like there's like a couple of trees right here, but the gravel, dirt or whatnot go all the way up here and go into the back right here and then kind of stop.
So,
Over here is like what appears to be maybe like a greenhouse or structures up here. But I'd like to be able to put these trucks over here, but it's, I don't know. You know if it's a greenhouse on the left side of the property, Bob? Like if you're looking at the barn, what are those structures on the left-hand side?
It was Bilbo's Garden Center 25, 30 years ago, and he had a pressure-treated frame, and I guess he covered it with plastic every spring, and it flew all over town, I understand. Mighty electric. That lean-to that's to the side. There's also a second curve cut with the state over towards Magical as you look up the property to the left of the house.
so you have two curb cuts on Spruce Hill.
Curve cut.
Okay,
So, sorry, where's the house on here?
It's in front of where like the orange trucks would park. It's 20 feet setback from the street. The front of the house is 20 feet back and about 15, 18 feet off the property line.
so we really need to see a site plan, because you're gonna be making some improvements to the property. But are you gonna be adding, that parking area for the trucks?
It'd just be gravel, something permeable, I guess you could say. I mean,
Yep.
right now, it's pretty much just old grass and dirt.
So if you can get us something that we could look at as a site plan, that would be helpful. What do you think, Jim?
What do you,
Well, if it's already gravel and you're leaving the gravel,
Well, that's
that
preferable.
helps a lot.
Yeah, that
Okay.
helps a lot.
Helps
That,
a lot.
it means that this, well, generally when we do site plan, we require stormwater management, right? But if you're not going to be changing the topography there,
I'm not,
Like if you were clearing trees and putting in pavement. then
Right.
We need catch basins,
Right.
and drainage structures and all
Right.
that. But if it's in
Exactly.
already gravel and stuff.
gravel.
Leaving it like that, that's it. Way
Okay.
easier.
but we still like to see a general site plan, just to get an idea of what your traffic flow is going to be on the site, where you plant those arborvitae, right?
I just plant them within,
I know, but we like to see them on a plan, so that, the abutters are protected.
the abutters are protected. What's an abutter?
Abutters, the person next door. So the
there's-
people next door who complained about the vines and everything coming over,
No, they asked me if I was gonna clear the vines.
I get that, but so you're gonna do something about that there, right? So you're
Yeah, I'm
gonna do
gonna-
some plantings and so forth?
I'm just gonna plant some arborvitae's on my
Right,
side.
so we'd like to see a plan that shows that.
That's what I
No,
brought.
this doesn't work. You need to show us a plot plan, you need to show us the dimensions of the property, where you're gonna go with that.
I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Well, hire somebody.
I haven't bought in the property yet. First I need to know if it's
Okay.
gonna be something
Well, you know
that's,
that it's business B, you know that the use is allowed, you know that if you want to do the kennel stuff, it sounds like it's mobile, so it sounds like you're just going to be storing the mobile units there.
truck, yeah.
So you won't be really running a business out of there, you'll just be deploying out of there.
I'll be running mass.
I mean, I'm just talking about the kennel business. That
Okay.
requires a special permit, but it may not in this case because you're just deploying the trucks,
Right.
all right?
As far as mass bay tree that goes there, you don't see a problem. I mean, I'll hire an architect and I don't know what they charge. People charge 4 times what they want nowadays. I think paying somebody 10 grand to make some drawings on how big a tree is gonna be, I wouldn't wanna
Well,
waste.
it may not be that much. Look into it and see what you can get for us.
Okay,
Looks like he might have one for you to start with.
oh, great.
It's a certified plot plan with the septic system that exists.
Okay,
That's a abstract you can show them.
And you can use that as a base.
okay. All right,
Right,
And then-
if you wanted to overlay,
Most of the information already on there.
right.
Okay.
If you wanted to overlay some of the improvements you're gonna do on
Okay.
top of that plan, we'd certainly look at that.
okay. So the property right now is currently for sale? And currently, right now, holding up Mr. Jones from selling to somebody else because he allows me to lease to own it, because I don't have $2 million in my back pocket. I don't know if a lot of people do, but he's gonna kind of hold it for me as long as I can get some sort of we don't see a problem with it, but you'll have to come back and show us, but we don't see any,
That's what we're saying.
we don't see
what
any
we're saying.
headaches, okay.
Yeah,
So
you
just
should.
bring you I can put the trees there, or I can show you the drawing. When's the next time I could?
You mean the arborvitae's and the
Yeah,
screening?
when's the next time I could have a meeting for that?
Would he need a public hearing and a peer
Yeah.
review and all that?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We still would do a public hearing on a site plan. We always do a public hearing on a site plan. This may not require the extent of the stormwater management review that we would do normally, because you're not going to be really adding any impervious material to the site.
No,
You're just going to be rearranging how you store things on the site.
correct.
Right, okay. So we could take a look at that on that plan, but we still have to go through the site plan process.
Okay.
Okay,
And we may condition some things for you
okay,
if we approve that site plan,
okay,
all right? But as soon as you get a plan to us and follow, the process that Sue will lay out for you,
okay,
next meeting or the meeting after that.
Right. I'll send you an email tomorrow with the application.
okay. Would it be prior to September?
No,
No.
Okay. Thank you.
thanks.
Sure.
All right, so next on the agenda is an informal meeting with Stephen Rye for 181 Mattakesa Street, Koopman Lumber.
Good evening. Stephen Rye. I spoke with Sue a few weeks ago and tried to get on for an informal hearing, an informal meeting, so we could kind of go through a scope of what you would like to see for a site plan filing from us. Koopman Lumber is taken, as you know, over Sampson Lumber, and they're currently using the site. And they have a lot of outside storage of lumber. They'd like to put a structure in that covers some of that lumber and allows it to be stored in an organized way, so that people coming in can go through a drive-through area with a shed roof over it and go to racks, which would be on each side of columns. So there'll be 2 columns. This is the building itself, it'll be over 190 feet, right, 62 feet wide. So there'll be 2 lanes of travel through the building, and as you see in red, those are the wrapping areas where this lumber would be stored. So they're looking to do that type of a shed cover for the materials, just to get it out of the weather, organize it for people coming in, make it a little better for customers. And so we wanted to kind of go through what type of filing you wanted to see for this. And this was previously filed as a site plan on a special permit back in 2005. It was approved as a special permit to add this building at that time and to increase the impervious coverage of the site. It's primarily paved around this side of the building and this as well. And the back of it is left gravel. And it's got 75% coverage right now.
Where this building is going is already paved, isn't it?
Yeah, where it's gonna go right now is gonna be already paved.
So there's zero impact to drainage.
Right, right. That being said, we might try to, because it's coming off the roof, we might try to get some of that roof and put it in the ground maybe over here from some gutters.
That all helps, what we care about is you're not increasing the pavement, you don't need more drainage.
So we just wanted to, this was actually the site plan that was submitted, minus the additional topography we've done now and the proposed addition on there. We just wanted to see what type of detail, do you need off-site detail for something like this, or is what we're showing here sufficient? Because it's an interior building within a paved parking lot already.
We do this as a minor modification. Sounds like he's putting open racks in a
To an
paved
exist-
area.
Yeah,
Right,
to
and
an
they're already storing the lumber
They're
there
already storing
anyway.
the there anyway, so
to an
just make,
existing site plan, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. I mean, under your regulations 3.2, minor modification is one of the options you have.
Yeah.
And if we can do it that way, and you feel like we've got enough information on here now, we can do that. We can also add, obviously, we'll add some of the detail for abutting properties. And but we just didn't want to go full depth into site plan approval and try to meet all your impact studies, assessments, and all that, because there's no change in use.
yeah, you're not changing anything.
It's the same use, so
You're
we're
putting
trying
a roof
not-
over stacks of wood that's already there.
Right.
So we would just like consensus from the board that we can do it as a minor modification and eliminate some of those requirements.
Yeah, I'll move that this is a minor modification to the existing site plan.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none?
My only concern was just making sure it's not like higher than the existing, like steel structures that are
Yeah,
there.
we'll show you the height of the roof, we'll give you all
Well,
that
that's a good
information.
question. How high do you intend to have it?
I think you said it's 22 feet along the east.
Well, that's about what the building is.
That's what they are now
I
anyway.
would say it is, we haven't actually measured that yet, but I know this one's a little bit tall probably. But we'll get the measurements of those for you and have it on the site plan, just so you know.
Okay.
And we'll give you a plan of the building, the structure itself.
All right. So we've got a motion made and seconded to, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And so that will be a public hearing as well, though, for site plan approval, or will it be an
No,
informal?
Minor.
Okay, that's what I
You've
want.
got the minor modification.
Still go to the building department.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for covering the wood.
It isn't covered yet.
I hate picking up the PVC when it's wet.
All right, next on the agenda is an informal meeting with Kristen Spiru regarding proposed cell tower for Vertical Bridge REIT LLC, Verizon Wireless, at 720 Washington Street.
That's right. Good evening. My name is Kristen Spiro. I'm with the firm Robinson & Cole on behalf of our client, Vertical Bridge. We plan to apply for site plan review for the installation of a proposed cell tower on land leased at 720 Washington Street in Pembroke, upon which Verizon Wireless intends to locate. So we're proposing to construct a 150-foot tall monopole with supporting antennas and radio equipment on the pole, and then additional support equipment on the ground adjacent to the tower itself within a 41-foot by 68-foot fenced-in enclosure. The reason that we requested this informal meeting was to discuss waivers that we plan to request for certain required site plan application materials, to determine whether you might accept those proposed waivers before we finalize our application materials.
Sure.
Okay. Under the planning board rules and regulations for site plan approval, it is required that the site be designed so that traffic carrying capacity of the intersections and streets likely to be affected by the development, submit a traffic impact study and a traffic impact assessment by a registered professional engineer. Our applicant seeks a waiver of this requirement. We are not anticipating any traffic impact whatsoever. The proposed facility will be an unoccupied use that will be monitored remotely and only requires infrequent visits by contractors and maintenance and inspection. The traffic is expected to be no more than a few vehicle trips per month at the most. In connection with site plan approval process for a similar personal wireless facility in 2020 and 2021 at 85 Washington Street, the planning board approved similar waiver requests for this. The second waiver request is for the photometric plan, which is required by the planning board rules and regulations. The applicant seeks waiver of this plan. The only lighting at the proposed facility would be directed downward to illuminate the equipment pad area, and only in the rare case of a technician needing to visit the site, after daylight. Otherwise, the site is not close to residential properties, and you approved a similar waiver request with the prior site plan application for 85 Washington Street a couple years ago. The third waiver request concerns the landscaping plan to be stamped and designed by a landscape architect. The proposed facility, again, is an unoccupied use that will have minimal impact to the existing landscape. Although the facility will require the removal of trees within the immediate area of the proposed construction, tree cutting will be minimized. You did waive a similar requirement for 85 Washington Street. The request for sign inclusion. Applicant seeks a waiver of this requirement. The proposed wireless facility is behind and on the same lot as an existing business, so no change to the existing signage is requested. The only signs at the facility would be small no trespassing signs and any required warning and safety, signs required by state and local regulations. Any signs will be at the facility itself and should not be visible to abutters or from public roadways. You did approve a similar waiver request for 85 Washington Street. Moving on. The site plan rules and regulations require a locus map on the plans at a scale of 1 inch for 200 feet. We request a waiver from the scale requirement for the locus map. The locus map will be included on the site plan at a scale of 1 inch to 1,000 feet for a 22 inch by 34 inch plan. All the required site features for the locus plan will be shown on other plan sheets. Additionally, the planning board rules and regulations require site plans to be prepared at a scale of 1 inch to 20 feet or 1 inch to 40 feet, except for building elevation plans at a scale of 1/4 inch for 1 foot or 1/4 inch for 2 foot, drawn on a standard 24 inch by 36 inch sheets. We're requesting a waiver for the scale requirements here. We intend to submit, the plans that we intend to submit are currently on a scale of 1 inch to 50, with a 1 inch to 10 foot elevation drawing scale. So we would argue that given this de minimis deviation, we would request that strict adherence to this requirement be waived. A similar request was granted for waiver in connection with the site plan that was reviewed at 85 Washington Street. And finally, and thank you for bearing with me, the planning board rules and regs require that site plans include the location and names of all streets and driveways and curb cuts within 300 feet of the site, including street layout and pavement width. The plans that we would intend to submit show the locations of all streets, driveways, and curb cuts via aerial imagery. But we request a waiver for the requirement that we show the street layouts and pavement width on a 300-foot radius plan. Again, the proposed facility will not generate traffic and will use the existing curb cut on Washington Street. So the layout and pavement width are not particularly relevant in this case. That's all I
I
have.
agree
Thank
with
you
all
for
that.
the time.
Anybody else have questions? And we'll go through full site plan review with this, so,
Absolutely.
yeah. I see them as reasonable.
I do too. I mean, we approved those,
Yeah.
same for the other tower.
So,
You know, that's right where I live.
I am.
Service.
We're very good at our
But
jobs.
this is just an informal.
well,
So
we'll-
we're not approving it, right?
No.
We're just saying,
no,
yeah,
we
would
allow,
entertain those.
we'll take a motion just to put it in the record that we've granted these waivers,
Yeah.
and they'll show up, the waivers will show up on the site plan. The fact that we have a list of waivers will show up on the site plan and on the conditions.
I'd like to
Good
make,
idea getting it done at this point.
Yeah,
yeah.
makes sense.
I'd like to make a motion that vertical bridge REIT in regards to,
Waivers as proposed.
yeah, hold on.
List of waivers.
Regarding to 720 Washington Street, proposed cell tower location, the requested waivers, that the board would accept them as acceptable waivers for the proposed plan.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Oh, great,
Thank you all for your time.
and
Really
we look
appreciate
forward
it.
to your site plan submission.
One question about that. Is there a timing, like if we were to submit within the next couple of weeks, is there an expected time of when we might get on? For the October, thank you. Okay. Thank you all for your time. Really appreciate
Thanks.
it.
I know people live down that way, they'll be excited.
No one's ever excited about
No
cell
one's ever
towers.
excited, yeah.
Well, no, my
maybe
friends that
better
live over
service,
there,
but-
like, they're both, like, you can't get a phone call out if you're not on their Wi-Fi. It's ridiculous.
The flip side of that is ask someone where the cell towers in town are, and they're
And they won't be able to tell
a
you.
blank stare.
Yeah.
They can't tell you where they are.
All right, so next on the agenda is a possible vote to return the amount of $2,324.89 in engineering review account for site plan SP 1-22, 30 Old Washington Street, formerly known as 631 Washington Street, project to original applicant. So this would be the project that's next to Dairy Twist, correct? And that was completed when?
A couple weeks ago. They were here.
No.
Next to Dairy Twist?
The project was completed when?
Oh, that I
Okay.
don't know. I know
It's
they were
been-
here for minor modifications.
No, that was across the street, wasn't it?
This is the one next to the restaurant.
Gotcha, okay.
They changed the.
Old
name to
Washington Street,
Washington, yeah.
okay. And did we have the review of their as-bills done? We must have, because they've got occupancy, obviously.
Okay. I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
someone can make a motion to the effect
oh,
of,
what's that again?
yeah,
I don't remember.
return the
I
amount.
don't either.
I'm like trying to remember when that is.
That
like-
was, Papa Stratus was in here last time to talk to us about removing the stop sign, right?
Yeah,
And the fence being moved.
and the ditch and the stone and
Yeah,
the rock and all
right.
that.
That was the last meeting.
Okay. But everything else has been done?
Yes.
And there was a compliance statement from the peer engineer stating everything was all set.
Right.
Okay. Then I make a motion to return $2,324.89 from the engineering review account for SP 1-22 for 30 Old Washington Street, formerly 631 Washington Street, to the original applicant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, there you go.
Aye, oh, I'm sorry. I was sleeping, I was reading. Sorry.
All right, so we've got the possible vote and discussion to accept the final as-built drawings for the self-storage facility on Old Church Street.
Yeah.
And we've got the letter from Merrill in your packets.
And built in substantial conformance with the approved plans. Well, that's interesting. I just want to see if they put the sidewalk in that I told them they need to have in there. For side access. I'm just curious.
I don't know about you guys, I can't read any of this.
I can't hear.
Are you looking at the same thing we're looking at?
No, the last page has actually got drawings on it.
Oh.
But
Oh,
they're
that's why I was like, where is
right
the
half by
asphalt?
11, they need to be 24 by
Yeah.
36 to be able to read them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the large one yet.
Well, we need the large one.
Well, this is the review, the as-built done by Merrill, so. So we require the as-bills to be reviewed before the building department can issue an occupancy permit.
Right.
So they need to be signed off.
Yeah, I can't read that for these little things, not that it matters. But if Merrill read it, I don't know why I
Well, they
need
might
to.
have the bigger ones. Like in the-
I don't remember.
Well,
I didn't have a chance to look at the files, you said, did you send us PDFs of these?
Yes.
I don't really want to hold them up.
I mean, I see no reason not to approve it and let them get their occupancy permit. I mean, it's been thoroughly
They've been
reviewed.
working on that hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doesn't this one include a residence?
yes.
Yeah, for like a site manager.
Yeah. There's an on-site site resident. Yeah.
So, is anyone willing to make a motion?
Isn't it Heather's turn?
I make a motion to accept the as-built drawings for the self-storage facility on Old Church Street to be accepted as presented.
Do I have a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good. All right. Next on the agenda is a discussion on 38 Riverside Drive. The rear area shall be replanted with 20 native trees in the fall. So give us the update, Sue.
So it's just more of an FYI. This is the one where the contractor mistakenly took down all of the trees on the property. So they just built the retaining wall, that's all set. And then in the fall, they're gonna plant 20 trees, 10 feet apart to be successful, evergreen, pine, and oak. So this was just more of just to let you know that this is in process and they're trying to fix the error that was made. And Deb from Merrill has been out there several times.
What size trees were they gonna put up?
What size trees?
This tall, right?
If we could know what the height and caliber of the trees are, that would be helpful.
Or diameter of their trunk,
Sure.
right, caliper, sorry, conservation.
Just over the side up when there's as big as the ones that were there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Deb said it is gonna take some time, but yeah, I'll get that for you.
okay.
If they're fixing a mistake, we could ask them to plant slightly bigger ones than requiring subdivision.
We could, yes. Yeah, so it would be very helpful to know that.
Okay.
I think they should be at least like the 3-inch minimum, like, right? This is usually what we.
Well, also you have to take into consideration the site situation and the trees taking and a lot of other things. But, yeah, I think it would be better if they were slightly larger, so it would be nice to know what they are.
Okay.
All right, anything else that you've got for us?
Just signing the Mylar plans for 244 Mattakese Street, Town Tavern.
Okay,
They're all over there. Everything's, they just didn't have them prepared when you guys approved this site plan.
anything else routine administrative?
We get the
Oh,
to be
minutes.
accepted.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the Monday, June 24th, 2024 meeting as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Nothing else on the list?
When is our next meeting?
September 9th?
Yeah, I think it's the 9th.
Bring me back home.
Yes, Monday, September 9th
Okay.
is the next meeting of the planning board. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're done.